Live from Training Room 1 in the Door Controls USA corporate offices in Midwheeler, Texas. This is our free educational webinar series. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tech Support Supervisor Daryl Bledsoe and Tech Support Specialist Scott Everett.
Welcome everyone to Webinar Wednesday. My name is Daryl Bledsoe. I'm Tech Support Supervisor, and I am joined here today with Adam Certified Scott Everett. He's one of the highly trained techs around here. Today, our webinar will focus on issue free in 23. We will be discussing big issues of 22. Plus, we'll give some helpful hints and great tech tools to help you while you're on the job. Please don't miss the question and answer session at the end of the webinar. And let's jump right on in. All right. We had an amazing year last year. 22, we had over 50,000 calls come in. Man, it was great hearing everybody, and we're trying to get some better tips and have a better 23 come up. Now, that being said, we're going to count down on the five most OEM calls that we've had, and then the problems we had with those, and maybe help find some fixes for those problems. Here's number 5, and it comes from Besom. All right, Besom, the SL500 and the Unislide. These are their newest sliders, and it seemed a lot of people have problems with them out in the field. What kind of problems you foresee on the Unislides and SL500s?
Well, on the SL500, the most common problem is it loses its learn. And the first thing you should do is do another learn cycle on it and try to get the door running either with or without all the accessories. You can unplug everything from the control because it's all a normally open contact. And then you can learn it with the accessory or without the accessories, and then with the accessories.
Yeah, the control is a normally open contact, so, and you can even pull out the switch, and that switch would put it into automatically. So anyway, that's one. And then the Unislide.
Same situation with the Unislide, where you don't have that much options on it. You do a learn cycle, you press a button, but the important thing to remember about the Unislide is if you replace a motor or control, you should replace both of them.
Absolutely. Now the 4-flash, that's always coming up whenever the techs call in to us.
Yes, and you don't know if that's a control or a motor because it's a motor overheat or over voltage. And like I said before, you should replace both the motor and the control.
Right. Okay. All right. Now, let's go on ahead. I think maybe we answered some of those. Record's another big one that comes in. We have all kinds of stuff that comes up there. Let's take the 5100. What do you see there? Most of the calls.
Most of the calls there are either a relearn or someone stands under the sensor more than a minute, and it gives you a SIA error of more than 60 seconds, and it will display on your FPC or your SmartPad.
Right. Now, how much do we need that SmartPad?
Pretty important to have it as far as changing the parameters, lock logic, speeds, but it can be done without it using the blue button to perform a 8-flash, 9-flash, 3-flash, and 1-flash.
Which resets the control.
Yeah, defaults to factory parameters.
Okay. But we do have a handheld device that we use, the FPC.
Yes, we have that. It's pretty important to have that when you're replacing a control on either the slide or the swing, to program it, to check for any errors, to reset the maintenance. But we do have a rental program here where you can rent the programmer for 10 days.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they can rent it for a little bit longer if they want to.
Yes.
Call in. They may have a couple others somewhere in the city. Okay, that one pretty well did it. Let's go on to Horton. Horton is another big collar that comes in. What I know what some of them are, but that NS that drives people crazy.
Right, and the 2150 is a really great control because it'll tell you what's wrong. It'll tell you why it's cycled. It'll tell you if it has an error. And the most common on the 2150B belt control is the no signal, or NS error. And basically that's telling you it's not finding a home switch, which is a closed monitor switch in the middle of the header on a bipart and on the locking jam end of a single slide. And you can take that switch and you can hit it with your hand and look over at the control and see the home switch blinking. And if you don't see that blink when you press that switch, you know you either have a bad switch or bad connection.
Okay. Now they have LEDs on the left-hand side from the LCD screen. Okay. So you have D4, which is your toggle. That's on all the time. Then D5, the one right below it, that's your monitor switch. If it has a monitor switch, if it's a version 11, it will not, but anything below 11 will have a monitor switch with it. So you can always hit that switch and see if that LED lights up. Okay, 2150L, that's the linear drive.
It is, and a lot of the problems with that is when you have a micro switch go bad. If it's the full open, when the door opens, it thinks it's already reached open, or if it's a bad closed micro switch, it thinks it's already closed before it gets there. And the easiest way to determine that on a 2150 is to press the reset and down button at the same time. Let off of reset, hold button down till it says UT, which is micro switch test. And then
here's the micro switches right here.
Yes, sir.
That we can see.
Close switch, close check, open check, full open.
Right. And without any one of these, it will start acting up on you.
Most definitely.
Good. All right. These right here they are a lot of maintenance involved, but it's good for a service company because you can make some money off of them things. Okay. All right. Now we have the 4190 swing control. Pretty easy control to maneuver. I mean, it's digital. I mean, it's not digital. It's all, you have adjustments. That's the old school way, you know. That's where I grew up in the old school. But some of the problems it has, sometimes it don't even work. And sometimes it's just simple adjustments.
Right. And whenever you first initialize a control, you want to have all of your speeds around 12 o'clock. Because if your open speed is turned down, your check speed, your hold speed, whenever you activate it, it might not open at all. It might open really, really slow. So you want to make sure your speeds are set in the middle right off the bat. And then you want to adjust your cams because that can cause issues with the reverse obstruction, which you will get a hold light on and it will shut immediately and cancel out your time delay.
I get calls also that tell, hey, you know, I turned the time delay up, the hold, and well, there is a delay and there is a hold. A hold is just a little bit more current on the motor to keep it held at a 90 degree when you have it in hold open. Right. And the delay is actually your time delay from when it's activated till how long you want it to stay open. So them two, people do get them confused, but that kind of helps you out there on what you need to do with a hold and the delay and all the adjustments to get it going again. So if it don't work, go back to factory settings, which is 12 o'clock, and then from there adjust everything. I think that'd be good. Okay. All right, now we got some more coming up here. Okay, it's the DC1 door controls. This is a great baby we have here. Shouldn't have said baby there, but anyway, it's a great automatic door retrofit kit that we have. We got it so we could replace a lot of these older controls that are out in the field. They're not, you know, they didn't have monitoring on them. All the older ones didn't. So now monitoring's coming into play, And that's always a kind of a big issue here also. So if you have an old automatic door out there and that thing, all the doors are good, the header's good, everything looks good, but the gut's inside, let's put a DC1 in it and let's have them a brand new door. You get a year's warranty with it. So anyway, we do have some problems that are called in, but it's adjustment problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the most important thing to keep in mind with the DC1 is before you even turn it on, make sure that the door does not have a bind in it. Because any kind of bind is going to take more power to move the door than the control is willing to put out. And the easiest way to check that, besides doing a physical open and close by hand, is to scroll through the menu and look at your learn torque. If your learn torque is 100 or 101%, then you typically have a bind. Whenever you're working on it, you can raise the torque somewhat, but the open and close torque are going to default back to its original program. That way, to solve the problem of a bind, you just don't turn the torques all the way up, walk away from the door, and then if there's a sensor issue and someone gets hit by the door, it's going to hurt them.
Yeah, because it won't react back open if it does hit. Okay, we've covered a lot of issues here. We've gone through Besom, Horton, and then the DC1. Now, the one that's coming up is number 1. Drum roll, please. All right, we have Stanley. Yes, that's right. Stanley is our number 1 call into door controls. We have a lot of questions that come from the Classic 521, the Pro series, and now they have the IQ series. So we are having techs call in. Anyway, we're going to go through just a few. Our number 1 call right now on Stanley is an FIS. And what do you think about that?
That's a very common problem, and we go through it manually. We do not use the dongle. Right. Most errors on your Pro and your IQ are a learn error where the door loses its program. Mm-hmm. It doesn't know between full open and full close the amount of encoder counts, and the easiest way to go and fix that is to rerun an FIS. And basically it's a first initialization sequence. Whenever you start it, it erases everything in the control. So you go through and program what the door is and the motor handing, then your switches and your type of sensor, monitored, non-monitored beams, Pro or none.
Right. Now the Classic, which we call the yellow control, that don't even have monitoring.
No, and that's the reason they came out with the Pro. It's for the monitoring, and there's a lot of issues with the Pro.
Yeah. Some of the issues were the electric, the terminal blocks not getting the proper electricity up to go to the sensors.
Yeah, there's some situations where you could plug both sensors in and it will just take the power all the way down, like 5 volts.
Now, a little fix for that we had, if you don't have another control with you because you need to get one, we have, you can go to TB1, 1, and 4, and it is a little bit cleaner, I think, power coming out of there. So you can take all your activation power over to that and still go on TB4, 3 and 4, 7 and 8, and leave your sensors hooked up there. Okay, we got some more coming up. On the Pro, let's go to the Pro, because the Pro has a lot of diagnostics to it. It can actually tell you what is wrong with it.
Right, the Pro and the IQ have, especially the IQ, it will tell you if you have a monitoring problem. It'll tell you which sensor it is. It'll tell you if there's a beam issue. It will tell you if there's a learn issue by giving you the code on the control.
Right. Yeah, 06HO. 06 is the state that the door is in, which is open. And then HO it's being held open by something. It could be activation. It could be...
Yeah, it could be safety beams, activation. It could be a stand guard. It could be... A lot of times it is the Pro beams, because They're very finicky, and now
they're exposed. I mean, people can hit them with buggies, or
right.
in hotels, you got people running in and out with suitcases. It can knock a beam off, and that would also hold the door open. Now, the difference here, this is the Pro. As you notice, we do it manually, the FIS. Now, we suggest fingers don't fit in there too good side by side. We suggest getting you a couple of pencils. Number 2, use the eraser side. It's real good. You can get in there and it holds to the button. It won't slip off. Anyway, that's just a little tip that might help you out. Got the Yellow Classic here. The sensors run off of 12 volts on here, 12 volts AC. And then they went to the Pro, they went to 24 volts. And then on to the IQ, which we hadn't even mentioned yet. IQ's the brand new one out there.
Right.
It'll have a white face on it.
And the Classic with the yellow control, you will notice there's less terminal strips, and that's because it has no monitoring.
Right, and also the beams don't hook up to the Classic either, to the yellow. But on the Pro and the IQ, they'll have a TB6 up here by 1, 2, and 6, and 3, 4, 5 is down here in 7. Okay, all right. Now, I know you probably have a lot of questions on it. We probably missed a bunch, and I know we did because the webinar is just never long enough. But is there anything else we can help y'all with? We're going to have some Q&A here in a little bit. Okay, some helpful tips that we have for you. Record. If you go out to a record, make sure you have your FPC, your handheld. You can't make any changes on the control. There's nothing manually adjusted on there. So if you want to know what's happening to your control, please take your FPC with you. If not, tell us. We'll rent y'all one, and you can keep it for 10 days. But if you have it, you can get out there, know what's going on, and get out there quicker. That's money in y'all's pocket there. Okay, some more helpful hints. What can we do here? Let's say we're bypassing on the Pro control. We want to bypass the troubleshoot the beams.
Right. So what you would do is you would unplug the beams from TB6. You would go unlock the control, go to parameter 20, and change it from 1, which is Pro beams, to 0, either no beams or Optex beams. And that way, the door, if the beams aren't working, it will allow it to close, and you'll know they're bad. You have to do both things: remove the beams and tell the control that it does not have Pro beams.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go to the 816100 record. I know we're bouncing back and forth, but these are just kind of coming to my head. Whenever we want to just do a learn of the opening, what do we do there?
If we don't have a FPC, you can do a 3 flash on the control, and that will tell the door to open, close, learn a new stroke, and you don't have to have the FPC for that. And then you can do a 1 flash, and that will simulate an activation.
Good. Yep. And now the Horton 2150. If you're having toggle switch, your switch is having a little problems. How can you bypass that and check that out?
Jump 8 and 9, which is your toggle input. So if your door is not running and it's in program mode, that means that you do not have a close on 8 and 9. So you can put a jumper there, and that will take the door from program mode to automatic.
Good. And they also, I'm going to do another one on 2150. They also have a night mode and a day mode.
Correct. And that's the jumper between 15 and 16. Now, and that's kind of a common problem, especially with the 4-position switch. It's a rotary switch, and it doesn't actually turn the door off. It puts it in the night mode, which all that means is it's going to ignore all of the inputs except for night switch. And a lot of times when people think they're turning the door off or they're turning it to 2-way, 1-way, it won't make a connection between 15 and 16, and the sensors will not activate the door. And the easiest way to tell, your control will say 2N instead of 2D. So you're 2 night instead of 2 day.
There you go. There you go. Some more helpful tips here. We do have a quick start kit. This is really nice. That way you can unplug all your terminal blocks and just go back in and plug these in here. We have little buttons on here that you can activate the door with. You don't have to worry about your fingers getting caught in the belt or in the door. Also, we have this is Love Your Tech Month, by the way. So we have a fuse kit. Now, how many times are you always looking for important fuses? 3.15. Get this kit here. You'll have every automatic door fuse that you can even think of. Well, that may be a few out there that not in here, but we do have a lot. This helps. This keeps you from running to Home Depot or in a couple other places, electrical places, to find the right fuse. Okay, we also have another kit that might help us out too.
Yeah, this is a switch kit, and it's really nice to have because you have multiple switches. You have rocker switches, you have toggle switches, you have magnetic reed switches, normally open, normally closed, bullet style. We have the breakers for the 7160 and the 2160 controls for Horton,
Right.
And we have replacement push button switches.
That's great. That's great. So here at Door Controls, we have what you need, man. Just get it ordered from us and give us a call. Okay. Now for additional support, we here at Door Controls, or DCU, we have come up with some webinars that we do. That's one of the support we have. We also have a web hub, tech hub, that's on the, you can go on the website and get. Our app, always, if y'all download our app, that would be wonderful. Because that would help you while you're on the ladder. You're on the phone anyway, you're talking to us. Go ahead and just get in there and see if you can find what you need. If you can't, give us a call. We have email. We can send you all the email in the world. Wiring diagrams, we can come up with them for you if we need to. And okay, here at Door Controls, we got a great tool that we can use. We can it's called Rescue Live, and I tell you what, I'm going to get Scott here to kind of explain a little bit about it. Scott?
Well, Rescue Live is an awesome tool that we use to be able to see what your camera sees. We'll send you a text message. You'll join the link, give permission so we can see what's on your phone. And if you're not that familiar with the door, as far as something that may be wired wrong, we can see it, identify the problem. Like I had a call yesterday where the gentleman didn't know that much about a 521 and he had terminal blocks put in the wrong spot. We could have talked on the phone for about an hour trying to figure that out. He put it on video. I was able to say, okay, TB6 is in TB5. We need to move that up. TB3 was over in TB1, so there was no connection on the breakouts. It's an awesome tool that we get to use and to see what the door is doing, or see how it's wired, the adjustments on the control. And it's just a great tool to have that saves a lot of time.
Yeah, it does. Also, don't be hesitant in taking it. We'll send you a link. All you got to do is go into it. We can't see anything on your phone. We can only see what you point your camera at. So all we do is go through the camera. So everything on your phone is safe. I don't want you to look at my phone either, and I wouldn't want to look at your phone. So anyway, okay, we have a great tool here at Door Controls. It's called Tech Tips. It goes out once a month. It's made up of calls that are coming into us and what y'all have problems with, and so we answer those. Try to get it in a simple form where we can send it out and you can read over it and say, hey, that might have been my call that I called in the other day. Anyway, Brittany in marketing puts it out. She does a fantastic job, and y'all just get on there and find that tech tip out. Okay, when to repair or when to replace. That's always a technician's nightmare. Do you just repair the motor, or do you repair the operator? What about the sensors? Scott, what do you think?
Right. A lot of times, if a sensor malfunctions and you try to adjust it, it's going to malfunction again. And that is a huge liability for your company. Because if that sensor malfunctions and someone is hit by a door and they see that you adjusted it without replacing it, then you're responsible for it.
Right, right. Also, I was just mentioning right before the sensors, motor gearboxes. You know, a lot of people say, hey, I got a bad motor. Can you just sell me a motor? Well, we can sell you a motor on some things. Some things they come together. But my suggestion would be that operator, that gearbox is the same age as that motor. If that motor went out, that operator's going to go out in another couple weeks or month. Then it's going to be a callback, and then the manager's going to say, hey, why didn't you just change the whole thing? Well, my suggestion would be a motor gearbox assembly should come as one. And on some things, like the Unislide, if you have a bad motor, let's change that control too. There's a lot of times that motor can blow that control out. But anyway, that's kind of my thinking. Not everybody thinks like that, but
That's the best way.
you don't want callbacks, that's
No,
for
sir.
sure. Now, when in doubt, whether to repair or replace, I would replace. Think about those people that are coming through that door daily. A grocery store, there's thousands of people coming in and out. And we're talking about all the way from 3 years old all the way up to 80 or 90. So let's think about them. Keep your area clean and safe, and good luck out there. Welcome, everybody. This is our Q&A session here. We'd like for you to ask the questions, and we'll give you the answers as soon as we can right now. Matter of fact, why does it take so long to get a hold of tech support? Well, we've got a lot of calls coming in from you techs out there, and if you want to, just hang on, be patient, hang on to us. We'll get with you. But if you want to, go on into the Tech Hub or even the Tech app. You might even find the question there, answer to your question quicker there. Okay, next question. All right, we have another question here. Can we get wiring diagrams sent to us? Scott, I'm going to let you take this one.
Yes, we can do them. We have a lot of them saved on our drive already, as far as sensor wiring and some accessory wiring. But if you need one that is job specific or hardware specific, we can get them typically done in 5 to 10 minutes and get them out to you.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay, here's another one. How long is tech support open? Well, tech support never closes. 24/7, 365 a year. Now, after 6, we do take emergency calls only because we don't have a computer with us, give you part numbers or do an order or look up, the status of your order that was shipped out. So anyway, it is for emergency calls. So give us a call anytime, night or day. Okay, next question. I've talked to a specific tech support specialist for an hour. How do I get to the same tech when I call back? Well, what you can do is, and if you don't know who you talk to, just go on to tech support, stay online for a little while. If it gets to where it's taking too long, go ahead and leave a message, and we'll have that tech support agent get back to you. We can go through our tech log, see, but leave your name and number so we can go back through the tech log and see who you are and who talked to you. Okay. When tech support sends me a link for Rescue Live, can they see everything in my phone, or how does it work? Scott?
No, we cannot see anything in your phone. It's an application that sends you a permission. Once you give it permission, all we can do is see what's on your camera. We cannot go anywhere in your phone. That's about it. It's very safe and very reliable.
And a very good tool for you and us both.
Absolutely.
Okay, that was our last question. But if you didn't get a chance to ask your question, after this webinar, go ahead and go to our support, doorcontrolsusa.com, and we'll be happy to answer your question that you didn't get a chance to ask. Thanks again for watching us here on Webinar Wednesday, and be sure to join us next time. Tech Support will be back on February the 22nd. We'll be discussing tech tools. There are some of the best tools for all you techs in the field. Be sure to always check out our website for news. Check out our Tech Hub, Tech Tips, and more at www.doorcontrolsusa.com. Thank you.
Thank you for watching our free Door Controls USA educational webinar series. Join us again on Wednesday, February 22nd, as Tech Support will present Tech Tools. Stay updated and in touch by visiting our website, doorcontrolsusa.com, and our social media platforms. Available, reliable, economical, innovative. We are Door Controls USA.